Okay, hello everyone, and my name is Sugi Yamagawa, and today on VTubing My Slow Life Hobbies in My 30s, we're going to be doing a shop day. And for today's shop day, we're going to actually be slicing and dicing a whole bunch of lumber, specifically lumber for the EPA woodshed. Also, once again, well, I should probably extend my greatest apologies for pushing this back because I truly did make terrible decisions yesterday and consumed an absolutely egregious amount of food. That's on me. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're here. We're at the miter saw station. Got miter saw Kun all set up, powered, all those fun things. And we're going to be basic. So the game plan today is we're going to be actually slicing and dicing a whole bunch of lumber, which is going to be done according to this cutlass. But yeah, we're going to get all the lumber sliced up that we need for the EPA woodshed. And I have an... Well, actually... You know what? Let's be a little bit adventurous. But yeah, that's kind of some of the pile right there. That's part of the pile right over there. That's some of the lumber we got. Well, there's more to it further like back and such, but we're actually going to be doing everything here at the miter saw station. Also, today's stream is I'm going to be introducing a new tool that I got recently. And it's this little guy right over here. But yeah. Can I... Yeah. But yeah. Here's my new tool. It is a Makita battery operated circular saw. And basically I've been looking for like a really light, easy to move saw that I could quickly make cuts with and such, and that's going to be its role. So, as much as reasonably opposing as miter saw Kun here is, miter saw Kun is actually not going to, we're not going to see a lot of action out of the miter saw Kun, simply because, well, the battery powered circular saw is actually going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting today. So, I'm actually going to go, well, honestly, let's go ahead and get these, let's get these two big bad boys taken care of. Also, the wood grain on these looks amazing. I am genuinely very happy with how well the wood grain looks like. Granted, it looks like my cut end is not quite within focus because we're going to be mostly doing a lot of cutting here, because we're going to be doing a lot of end cuts because our ends are pretty rough. So we're going to do a cut, flush, make it nice and flush, then we're going to spin the board around, and when we spin the board around, then we're going to make like our actual like dimension cut, but I'm curious, take a handy dandy tape measure, figure out whether or not I have more than 8 feet of length. So I actually have a couple more inches than 8 feet. So, and at the end of the day, I need this to be 8 feet of board. That is I require that. And also, for those who may or may not notice, I am actually using the nice webcam today because I've been wanting to use this for, well, I've been wanting to bust it out a little bit more often, so. And I feel like today is a good opportunity to use it. It honestly has absolutely terrible battery life, so we'll try to use it for as long as we can, get as much use out of it. So let's go ahead and start doing some cutting. So I'm just going to go ahead and just make a straightening cut just to get an end cut off. Goodness gracious, I love this thing. Oh man. Boy, oh boy, am I gonna love this thing. Okay. Now for the fun part of VTuber gets to spin large board, which is certainly exciting. And then we hook it, bring it into here, grab handy dandy marking utensil, and I don't think you can, yeah, you just can't see the mark. That's going to be a slight issue with today is you guys won't be able to see the really nice close-up of the where we're cutting. At least as far as when we're using the Mikita-kun. But everything past that you guys should be able to see. When we're using the miter saw. Okay. Woo! Exciting. But yeah. Leaves a real nice fresh cut on. So, that is, well, I mean, I'm always a big fan of measuring multiple times. Granted, I'm very optimistic. Yeah, we're really good. We're really good with our 8 feet requirement. So, one of our 2x6s is done. We need 2. So, I have some sawhorses set up over off to the side. So I'm going to transfer this to over there, and then I'll grab the next piece, and then we can work on that one. Oh boy. There's going to be a lot of... There's going to be a lot of lumber shuffling today. That is going to be... That's basically what's going to be happening for the most part. Is lots of lumber shuffling. Lots of lumber shuffling. And I'm also... Once again, I'm sorry for moving this around this stream a lot, but unfortunately life has been really happening to me. So... in a big way. So I'm gonna go ahead and oh wow, battery died. Okay, I need to go grab a new battery then. Which I certainly do have those. Ooh. Puzzling. Granted, I will say that's the best thing about working with cedar. Is the smell of it. And now I gotta get my blade lined up in my kerf. Woo! Exciting. Okay. I'm gonna end up with a nice little pile of pieces of wood by the end of today. And take measure time. Granted, I will say this is probably the best thing about this camera is you really do get to very nicely appreciate the wood grain. Better than you can with my other webcam. Because, granted, this thing apparently is... Apparently the battery on this thing is dying very quickly, which... Gosh, we're only like a little bit ways into this. But it is what it is. Cheers. Which, by the way, root beer. Now's not the time to be actually drinking real beer when operating power tools. Okay. I am loving this thing. I am absolutely loving this thing. Okay, so this piece of wood goes to a pile. And it's on the pile. So, next question is, what do I want to do next? Which I think we'll start grabbing the 1x4s, which we're actually going to be using quite a few 1x4s for this build, because we're going to need rear slats, side slats, floor slats, and yeah. We're going to be using these, so these are 1x4 pieces of cedar, 1 inch by 4. And these are going to be what we are going to be using for like the slats and other supportive members. Not super big on structural, but we are going to be using them throughout the build. And since they're a little bit lighter, I can have them a little bit closer to the edge to do what I need to do. And that's also the thing with cedar is it's very brittle. It's a very brittle wood. So, I'm just going to get started by cutting an end off. So this gives me a nice clean end. And then from here, I can spin the board around and determine my length. So we're going to be working for the rear slats first. So the rear slats need to be 89 inches long. Which 89 inches comes down to about here. Why do I not want them to be the full 8 feet though? Because if I do... Because if I make them 89 inches... Sorry, I'm trying to think a little. I might be trying to outthink myself here. But I'm actually going to go into my photo reel right now, and I'm going to go back to when I built the first one. Because the rear slats... Because I can make them a little bit shorter, but I still have to... They still gotta fit from like post to post. And if I do 89 inches, that makes them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That makes them 7 inches smaller than... Honestly, I'm gonna just cut these to like 8 feet. I think that's what I should do. I have them marked as 89 inches, but I don't trust that. I don't trust that. Because the rear slats are going to go all the way across the back. Because basically, this woodshed we're making is basically a 4 foot wide by 8 feet long box to store firewood. And I know I can make them a little bit... I know I can make the rear slats a little bit shorter than 8 feet, but 89 seems a little aggressive. And if I have to trim them shorter, when I actually do the actual build, then I have to make them shorter when I do the actual build. It's no big deal. It's no big deal whatsoever. Which, honestly, at the end of the day, that's actually pretty easy. It's actually really easy. Okay. Woo! So that's the first of the rear slats. And that's going to go on the pile. And grab the next one. Now, if I really wanted to, I could probably batch these out a little bit quicker, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to go too quick. But I will try to maintain a little bit of a good pace today. Because one, I don't know. Oh. my board hit the ceiling. Oh. Interesting. Okay, so this one turns out it's actually shorter than 8 feet. This was like apparently just at 8 feet. However, though, off that edge from there, well, actually I could go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna need side slats at 49 inches because currently I am, well, I'm actually literally about an inch short of board for 8 feet. But I could go ahead and cut this just a hair bit longer than 90 inches. And then from there, I could cut this in half, and then I'll have my side pieces. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to step down here. I'm going to mark 45, just because I already have all my measuring tape laid out. You know, I got everything laid out. Might as well, you know? There we go. And this will be the offcut. Oh, sorry about that. And there we go. Ooh, okay. I was a little bit concerned there of where this piece was gonna go, whether or not it was actually gonna like bump into the camera or not. I got lucky. I got real lucky. So, whenever I do my like thing here with the miter saw, I always just bring the blade down and see if it touches my mark. And if it touches my mark, I'm okay to go ahead and make the cut. So I'm gonna put my hand over here, out of the way, and it got misadjusted again. Because it did not go deep enough. Okay. Let me play with my depth adjustment. Okay. Hot dog, look at that. And there we go. We got side slats. So, take them over to our pile. Onto the pile. Ooh, that's gonna be a side slat piece. Let's grab, because I do want to keep moving forward. Actually, wait a second. Let's turn. Let's get the dust collection going. Really should get some dust collection going. Woo! Yeah, because I do want to go ahead and continue working on making sure I get the rear slats knocked out. Just because I want to get those knocked out. So I have a pretty big knot here. I'm going to try to, well, actually, before I try to knock that knot out, let's see how much board I have. I can knock that knot out. So I'm gonna do that. Yeah. Okie dokie. Bring it around. Now we get to find out how much we get for how much we gotta get for like 8 feet. Also, another thing about making rear slats 8 feet exactly is I'm gonna need floor slats for 5 of the same material. So I can go ahead, and if I want, I can substitute floor slats for back slats. And one thing that'll let me do is a lot of the floor slats won't be super visible in the finished build, but the side slats will be slightly more visible. So I could use slightly better looking boards for the project. Or at least that's the game plan. So, that's one more 8-footer done. to the pile land. Also really good. I turned on the dust collection. It's actually going to get dusty in here. Because we're going to be really kicking up some sawdust. But hey, that's just a good day. That's just a good day. And also making a real nice pile of scraps at my feet. Okay. Let's see what we can get out of this guy. Ooh, plenty, 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 plenty. I'll take plenty. Yeah. Because we are right there for 8 feet. And do that. I know I used gloves earlier, and now I've basically abandoned them. But that's the thing. It's rough lumber, but it's not like too bad. It's not too bad in terms of roughness. There we go. Woo! Cedar bark. That can get added to the pile. Pile of scraps. Okay. That's another 8-footer done. And if it seems like we're going to be doing a lot of 8-footers, spoiler alert, there's going to be a lot of 8-footers of these. For the woodshed portion. Granted, I am really loving this mini saw though. It's really tearing these boards up nicely. And hook. Bring over. Mark the 8-foot mark. Bring my speed square up to mark. Bring mark across. Rinse, repeat, keep having fun. Woo! One more 8-footer done. Let's see, that makes 4 8-footers. So that is actually enough for the rear slats. But we still need 5 more of these materials and for the floor slats. So ba, 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 ba. And can I hit the center of the board? Center of the board, please and thank you. I'm starting to look very pinky right now. with all the cedar sawdust right now. Okay. Woo! One more 8-footer. Onto the pile. And all this is just going to be rinsing and repeating. Very simple, very straightforward stuff. Do. Getting dusty in here. That's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's about right. Wow. There we go. Ring it around. Also, coincidentally, these are going to be the easiest to handle boards I have. When we get into the 4x4s, those are going to get a little bit more fun to interact with. Was not perfectly straight on that, but still got a pretty alright cut. So that's 8. Well, no, 8 or 7. I think this is 7. Gotta count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7s. Okay. Because I need 9. 9 of these bad boys, so I need 2 more. Ooh. The end of that board's thinner than the other parts of it. Do. Okay. Cut this to the length. Okay. And watch out. I think I'm right. I think this is going to be the last of the 8-footers we need. There we go. Okay. So we got 3 of these left. Of these. Yep. I need 8 side slats. We already have 2. We can get 2 side slats per board, so I'm just gonna go ahead, cut this end off. So, for 45 inches, I need 90 inches of board, which, do I truly need? Yeah, I'm probably going to need that. I can probably make do with 45 for the side slats. Let's see here. What does it look like building the thing? Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I could probably make them a hair bit longer. Granted, I marked that, but I didn't mark my 45, so we'll get this line taken care of first. Okay. With that done, we'll do that. Okay. Not gonna hit the camera stand. Really don't want to hit the camera. Okay. Okay. Woo! Side slats for 2. To the pile. Wow. Okay. Oh boy. How exciting. And you know what? Sure, we'll just peel that off. It'll just be a weak point anyway. Okay, so 90 inches. You're right about there. And actually this time, let's go ahead and mark our special spot over there. Since you know we already got the tape measure out, all that good stuff. There we go. Then we'll bring a piece of wood over and line it up with the miter saw. Bada bang, bada boom. Pieces. Jeepers pieces. Ooh. Look at that wood grain. Ain't that some nice wood grain? I think that's some reasonably nice wood grain. Woo. Granted, the air is definitely getting thick with cedar sawdust. Granted, we're not even an hour in, a reasonable good amount into the amount of lumber we got. Making really good progress. I'm happy. But yeah, probably gonna have just today be a shorter style of stream. Partly because I still gotta eat dinner. I mean, I didn't make a massive mistake yesterday with too much dinner, but I'll hit. Make sure that's reasonably well marked. And down here. Okay. Do. There we go. This shop's gonna be dusty for a while. Oh, wow. So with that, we're done with the 1x4s. So 1x4s are all done now. We now get to graduate to the 2x4s. So for the 2x4s, I need 2 8-footers for roof rafters. And then I need 2 45 for floor frame sides. Yep. And then I need 8 4x4. I need a whole bunch of 4-foot long ones. Let's see, for 6 and then 8. But I will need. Well, actually, I just need 2. I just need 2 for the roof rafters. So I think we'll go ahead and knock out the roof rafters first. Get those done. Because I think rest of the... Yeah, because otherwise the 2x4s turn into 4-foot long pieces, and then we will need 2 45-inch pieces. 45-inch pieces are well, the 45 pieces, 45-inch are 3 inches shorter than a 4-foot. So let's just go ahead and get the long stuff taken care of. Go. Watch. And since these are 2 inches thick, they're a little bit heavier than the 1x4s. Okay. And since these are my roof rafters, I'm actually gonna, if I can make them longer, then that's my floor frames. Well, actually, wait a second. I may not want to make this longer because floor frames sides are gonna go. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead, do my initial thought, make these a bit on the long side. And if I need to shorten them up at build time, that's what this Makita saw is for. That is exactly why that Makita saw, why I have that Makita. Okay. That's 1 8-foot 2x4 for the pile. I'll grab this one. This would be a good one. Do. Woo! Purpley. Very purpley. Okay. So this is going to be roof rafter number 2. Do that. roof rafter taken care of. So that's the 8-footers knocked out. So I think we should go ahead and work on 4-footers. We're gonna do that. Oh man, I'm getting so much sawdust into my footwear, which is admittedly fun. Okay. And I'm gonna start getting 4-footers, so I'm gonna do mark it 8, and then mark at 4. Boop. We'll pull it over. And we'll divide it with miter saw. Okay. Hairbit over. Check my miter saw again. Okay. There we go. 2 4-foot long 2x4s of Eastern Red Cedar. Get dope. I love the thud of wood on the floor. The simple things that amuse the simple male mind of a guy who just likes having fun in his garage. Okay. One flush in. Okay. Okay. There we go. Connection. So that's magic 8. Where's my 4? There's my 4. Oh, first time's a charm. Great. Go, 2 more for the pile. How many of these do I need for? we're knocking out roof rafters. I need 6. Okay. So once we put down this one, we'll have our roof rafters. Yippee! Woo! We'll get our 8-foot mark there. Come down the line. Or 4-foot mark. Woo! Yay! The camera has enough battery life for an hour of stream. I gotta say, that's the thing I dislike the most about this Sony camera is I can't charge it and record at the same time. I really wish I could. But unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. What a banger! Okay. And okay. There. That's it. There we go. That should be all the roof rafters I want. So from there, we get to worry about floor joists. Good old floor joists. Because let's see, what's my floor joists? I want 8 for floor joists. Roof rafters, I only needed 6. Floor joists, I need 8. Which is this plus this. Yeah, that many fingers. That amount of fingers. Woo! This board was not that much longer than 8 feet. That it was not. Okay. Get those 2 measurements. Bring that in. Scribe a line. Adjust. Grab saw. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm also talking about this wood grain. This wood grain is very nice. This thing is going to look very lovely when completed. Okay. So this is the beginning of the floor joists. Woo! Okay. Ah! Remember, hydration's important. Hydration's always important. Especially when you're working on projects. There we go. Spin. Oh! Is that all you got in you, buddy? Is that all you had in you? Oh my goodness. It used to last longer, but I think it's time I gotta get a battery for this guy. 1 second. I'm gonna... Yeah, I'm just gonna go for the full. Put her up. Actually, I gotta close that. Things are really dusty right now. Okay, so that's video capture device 2. We're gonna remove. Yes. And then this guy should be plugged in. Should be. Wait. Yes, okay. Then I know what to do. That is just basically bring in the display capture. Yes. Yes. Not quite that big. Not quite that big. There we go. There we go. We're back in action. As you can see, it looks brighter, but the image is a little bit more grainy. But this is actually my standard webcam that I typically use, but apparently the battery on my dedicated camera is not super great. So, woo. Okay, I'm gonna throw the BRB screen on because I need to use the little homesteader's room. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's keep having some fun. Okay. We'll do a mark there. I'm down to 4 feet. Mark there. Woo. Granted, we're really getting some work done. Oh, since I lost the other camera, actually got a little bit more room. There we go. Okay. It's 2 more floor joists done. Ugh. Come here, you. So, is there 8 foot? Come on down. Mark there. And there we go. There we go. And that's another set of floor joists. One more set to go. do mark there. And there. Ah. Actually. Okay. The dust collection bag's not too full. I was getting slightly worried about that. And there we go. More floor joists. Now, our last piece of 2x4 technology that we're going to be using for the floor frame sides. Okay. Do. So I can cut the floor frame sides. I need to be 45 inches. So there's a mark. And my second mark goes. There we go. There we go. We're actually going to get a real nice bit of scrap material here. That might be useful for another project at some point. There we go. We have floor frame sides done. Onto the pile. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh. Now, we get to play with the posts. So these are 4x4s. Actually, they're 3.5 by 3.5, roughly 8 feet long. These are the big boys. These are the real big boys. But they're posts. They're supposed to be big boys. So, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to square, well, because honestly, if I could do it at the miter saw, I would prefer to do that. But I don't know. No, the miter saw won't like that. Actually. I actually got an idea. Let's see here. So what I'm gonna do is aspect 1 is I'm going to do 3 inches more than what I want. So I want 3 6-footers, and then I want 3 5.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one mark 3 inches long. And there's going to be a point to that. So this is going to be my first cut. And with this first cut, I have a decent amount of material over here. Most of my material's over there. And since this is also a thicker material, I'm going to do the cuts in passes. Sort of like that. So you can see here, a couple of passes. Now this is a nice piece of scrap material. Chair. You can go on the chair. So, with this end now being nice and flush, I can grab this, which is now only 6 feet long, and a lot more handleable, a lot more wieldable. I can then, off my good end, come over to here and be like, okay, here is 6 feet of height. Let's see. Is that good? No. Actually need to bring it in. Okay. There we go. One nice big chunk of cedar block with a 6-foot post remainder. I was thinking about doing these with the Makita, but I'd rather do them at the skill, because the skill at least has a little bit of dust collection. It's not great dust collection, but it's still dust collection. So, this needs to go over here. And we can grab the next one. Woo! And we're just gonna rinse and repeat the process. So we'll do 3 inches more than our 6. Okay. Woo! Nice big chunks of scrap. Granted, that's actually one of the fun things about doing the posts, is these posts I'm going to get some really nice pieces of scrap off of, which are going to be amazing for future projects. Because first time I built the EPA woodshed, I got a lot of these off scraps got used in the Japanese sawhorse builds that I did. It's also a lot of fun swinging these. These are, yeah, these are fairly heavy. Because I mean, even this approximately 6-foot-ish piece is, I reckon, 40 pounds-ish, maybe? Somewhere around in there. Definitely a good amount of heft weight to it. Okay. And okay, I need to come a little bit more in. Let's see what that is. So, I'm basically the width of my pencil over, but that's fine because this part's scrap. Doesn't matter if I make cuts on that. So I can just scoot it over and try again. Yeah. See? I was a little bit off when I first made the cut, but that's fine because, I mean, this piece is just basically going to end up being scrap for the most part. I mean, there's probably still stuff I can do, I can work with it, but it's going to be scrap fundamentally. So, that is 6-foot post number 2. We need one more 6-foot post. And come on down. Next victim. I gotta say, moving around the full 8-footers is... These guys are heavy. But that's just also because there's a lot of lumber in here. There is a lot of lumber in here. So we'll do that. And close. I need to bring this over. I think we're on it. Woohoo! As you can tell, I like swinging lumber around. It's one of the fun things of being the weird sort of person I am. There. Now we mark over here. Get our handy dandy 6 feet. Ooh, please don't. Please don't. Stay there. And bang. That's close. Another block of wood for the block of wood pile. And another post for the cut pieces. Woo! Hey now. Lumber, you're not supposed to get heavier. Now, so we got our... Okay, so we now got our 6-foot posts. We're now going to do the 5.5 posts. And the reason why we're going to have some 6-foot posts and some 5.5-foot posts is it's going to give our roof a slant to it so it sheds water well. And we're basically going to be doing a similar method to how we did the ones earlier, where I'm going to find where I want. It's 5.5 is going to be 66 inches imperial, but I'm going to go 3 inches beyond that. The purpose for going 3 inches beyond it is I got to cut off the rough end. Well, actually, let's just grab because the ends on his lumbers are rough. We want something nice and smooth. But the offcuts on these are going to be longer, which makes them even more useful for projects. Ooh. Into my lovely pile of scraps you go. Flip it around. Woo. Hot dog. Ah. Accidentally left my pencil on the workbench and not my Aerosol station. Okay. Woo! Very dark and purpley wood. It smells nice. And that's our first 5.5 posts of 3. Ooh. Wow. So 3 inches past 5.5 is going to be the magic number 69. Yeah. And good lineup, good lineup. Woo! Well, I see that piece just wanted to rest on the floor. That is fine. That is fine. That is hunky-dories. What? And actually, I'd like to put my mark a little bit more on center. Like center of the piece. Okay, let's see. It's close. I think I need to bring it in. That's really close. Let's go for it. Woo. And that's really the only thing I dislike about the skill miter saw is that the depth pen here, it likes to wiggle loose, and sometimes after you do a whole bunch of like cutting with it, it will not cut as deeply because you can actually adjust the screw and you can actually control how far you actually want your saw blade to go down into the workpiece or your work area. Otherwise, I really like this as a miter saw. It's been a great miter saw, especially for a more weakened woodworker type guy like me, who does this for fun. Okay, we have ourselves the last victim, which is good because the air in the shop is increasingly, it has been slowly becoming more and more carcinogenic with the levels of sawdust suspended in air. Which I do have a air filter that's running right now, which I'm sure it's helping to kind of keep the edge off, but like, that's the thing with power tools. They generate a lot of sawdust. Okay. Let's see. Okay. It should be good. Not letting you escape this time. Scrap piece. You gotta go into the scrap pile. Because I want you in the scrap pile. Because I don't want to pick you up off the floor. That's basically what it comes down to. Okay. We'll make a mark. That's gonna be there. And my mark will be there. Lovely, kids. Let's see. And then that goes on the block pile. And then this, wow, and head over to the big stack. The big stack of cut lumber. Woo. Okay. But we have been successful today. With our cut list. Well, the list of all the various pieces of wood we need. So I can build the EPA woodshed. I built the EPA woodshed once before. I actually have a video where I basically have yapped about my experience building it. And I want to actually redo that video again, but with, I want to do it as more of like a how-to thing. So what today was getting all the lumber cut to dimensions, so that way I have pieces, and I can then start to assemble my pieces. Granted, I still actually have to go to the hardware store, well, or big box store, because I have to buy the the concrete post blocks that the post will sit on. I have to buy some carriage bolts, and I have to buy some deck screws. So I still have some supplies to get before I get to it. But yeah, today was just supposed to be like a pretty quick, pretty light, have some fun, kick up some sawdust, because yeah, not too often. I don't kick up sawdust as much as I would like to do around here, but with temperatures rising at my location on the rotation, I'm going to be spending a lot more time here in the shop versus over the campfire. Because admittedly, I'm a little glad that things happened in such a way where this project, this stream, is happening today versus my original plans for today, which was to be over the campfire yapping about wild edible plants, which I still plan to do that, but that's probably going to happen next week versus like today. But yeah, today was just supposed to be like a really simple, really straightforward stream. So I just want to say thank you very much to everyone who tuned in today. I will say I probably won't have next week's schedule out until, let's see, probably tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be a bit late getting out, but part of that is I don't want to fully commit to something unless I'm absolutely 100% that I want to do it. So that's going to be when the next streams are announced and such. But yeah, sorry I've been a little awkward. I was not anticipating being as busy that I was planning on as far as like work's concerned, but work has had other plans, but that is what it is. But yeah, so I'd like to go ahead and conclude today's stream. I want to say thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you all next one, and have a great rest of your day. Okay, bye-bye.